So we're digging Camas, and I'm looking for these gorgeous bluish, purplish flowers, and I'm looking for kind of the largest looking stem of the patch. Camas is an extremely important traditional food that helps to balance blood sugar, can be preserved for use throughout the year. So I come about maybe 2 inches away from the stem, pop it down in there. And these can be anywhere from 3 to 8 inches deep. So luckily these ones aren't too deep right here. And since it's been raining so much, the soil is actually really soft. And this one's okay sized. And I'm gonna take the smaller ones and any other little grasses and tuck them right back down into the soil so that they can grow bigger for future digs. These prairies have been tended like gardens for thousands of years with cultural burns and just the practice of digging Camas, aerating the soil. There's this outer layer that feeds the inner layers, protects it. I'm going to put these in a pit roast, an earthen oven, to slow roast for a minimum of 24 hours. Most likely about 48 hours, depending on how hot our rocks are.
Where should I put this? Maybe like down right here?
Yes.
On the bottom?
The biggest rocks first. Yep. So we're just gonna line the whole bottom. And then we'll take the smaller rocks and work them in. Now we're gonna build a really hot fire on top of these rocks. So we wanna get the coals so hot that the rocks start getting like bright red. Heat feels so good. We got rained out yesterday digging Camas and we're all freezing to the bone. And this is going really well. It's getting enough oxygen. This wood's really nice and dry. These rocks should only take, you know, maybe an hour and a half to get good and hot now. So right here we have salal, and salal leaves are super thick and waxy, and they're also really high in antioxidants, but we're using them for their thick, waxy, somewhat non-flammable powers that they have. So this will be the first one that I lay across the hot rocks. And then we've got some maple here. So we've got the palmate leaves, a little bit softer. So this one will go more towards the center of our plant debris. So I'm just trying to pick the things that are in abundance. This is last year's growth, so it's a bit thicker, tougher, waxier, and it's just gonna be able to withstand the fire a little bit better. We'll see what's over this way. So this is skunk cabbage, also known as Indian wax paper, and this will be right in the center of our pit. So this is going to be, you know, kind of the cookie sheet that we're laying out for Camas and other vegetables. They'll go in the skunk cabbage, Indian wax paper. I like to lay black moss, and I'll pre-soak the black moss, make a little bed for the Camas. See, it's so tender. And then maybe we just wrap it again with another leaf.
So I would just tie it. I would just tie it on the top.
Yeah, too. You will actually start taking all of the embers and unburned wood off of the pit, off of the rocks, and have all of your plant materials ready, like salal leaf and sword fern. Salal and evergreen huckleberry. Sizzle. That's perfect. Perfect. And now maybe lay them this way long. And then our tender, sweet little Camas purses here.
That is beautiful.
Betty Jo and I gonna lay down some veggies right on all of this here. It's already smelling good. Let's do some more over here. Yeah. Yep. And then we'll do another layer of our skunk cabbage, Indian wax paper on top, and then follow that by several other layers of these other plants that we've talked about. Just kind of in the corners.
With the ferns. What kind of ferns are those in it?
Sword burn. Try and capture it with this cloth right behind you.
Go, girls.
And we'll pour a little bit of water into the base of the pit and cover it as fast as possible back with our soil and capture all the steam so that that can cook in the ground. And that'll cook for anywhere from 4 to 36 hours or so, depending on what you're cooking. Yeah. Yeah, so almost immediately when they start taking off this cold soil, you can see the steam just starting to come up. Oh, it smells so good, you guys. Can you smell those veggies, Lisa?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Wow, perfect. Camas is really high in inulin and is actually one of the only starches that were consumed pre-contact. It's beautiful. And when it's slow roasted, it changes, the sugar changes to a more digestible fructan. And so that's easier for people to digest. And once it's been, cooked, you can then mash it into like cakes or crackers, like Camas cookies, and then dried and used later. One of my grandfather's favorite snacks was just having like a dried Camas cake in his pocket, and he would just take that out hunting and have his own little power bar snack in his pocket for later. Camas was also always used to like sweeten other foods, and so like before there was sugar, you could use it to sweeten other foods. To continue this cultural practice that has been, practiced for thousands of years, it not only feeds our bodies, but it feeds our spirits. And you see that when you look around and see people enjoying the Camas. You see that when you bring it to an elder that maybe hasn't had it in 50 years. You see that spark, that light in their eye, and I think that's why it's important.